This is Sybert signing into Tiberium Wars once again on Tournament Rift because it seems impossible to get away from this map. However, it is going to be Technique as aka Mastermind on the left side, green Nod, and of course as the blue GDI it is going to be Soryu. It is Soryu, and I don't remember if that's the I Train Harder Soryu or if it is in fact somebody else. As Smurfs just make everything so confusing. However, it does look like Soryu going to be going, and he is playing random, by the way, so Technique doesn't actually know who he's going up against, but he is going to be grabbing just one of the spikes, and it doesn't look like he's actually going to be going for a second spike there. However, Soryu grabs his own spike as well, and he is going for an extra engineer. And he knows it's GDI versus Nod, and so I can't say that I particularly disagree with him going for that extra spike. He's got the Rifleman squads, which typically, okay, not in that engagement, will go ahead and defeat those Nod units. However, where is that engineer? Where did it go, actually? Because, oh, up here. But however, why was I bringing that up? Because, of course, the scouting squads... Oh, Shadow Teams, just kidding. This game is getting wonky, so Technique is like, I don't even care what's happening. I'm going to go ahead and build Shadow Teams, and he is just going to be running them around. And look at that, he even gets a couple of extra shots off there. The Shadow Teams are going to be running away, though. However, yeah, oh, actually keeping the Secret Shrine, interestingly enough, most players, when they do any sort of Shadow Team rush, they go ahead, they use their Secret Shrine, then sell it off, and go ahead and play from there. However, it does look like Technique is planning on using that that Secret Shrine a little bit longer. However, he is going to be going for 2 refineries, and 3 harvesters, and that is a better setup than Soryu currently has. He's currently 2 and 1, probably going to be getting himself a second refinery. Just kidding. Oh, yeah, that outlook that he did send down here earlier. So he's actually going to be expanding it super early out of the gate. And if you were paying attention, you did spot that outpost coming out basically immediately. I'm pretty sure that he hit, like, you know, EF1R and then whatever the hotkey for outlook or outpost is. And he is going to be heading over there. And it does look like the scouting squad will go ahead and spot, hey, you know, that... Actually, well, the Secret Shrine is now not in that low power mode, but he was probably able to spot, hey, Secret Shrine is still there, and it's also in low power mode, which just tells you, never mind, it doesn't tell him anything, because the Secret Shrine has been sold off, so that intel is officially old, although it's very possible that with that shroud, with that super long shroud reveal, that he was able to spot that that it did get sold off there, as Command & Conquer just has the most ridiculous shroud reveal. And it does look like a Scorpion tank, just a single Scorpion tank out of Technique, and Technique actually running his MCV dangerously close to that terrain, so if there had been any sort of, you know, pit bulls, or even in different matchups, Seeker tanks or attack bikes, chasing your MCV down, just want to run it a little bit further away from the terrain so you can deploy it basically in an emergency setting. But single Watchtower is going to be trying to chase away that Scorpion tank, and Technique did back it up to try and get it out of range, but he was not quite able to do it. And it does look like, yep, Shadow Team's going to be going for the refinery. They do get it. Technique does have enough Shadow Teams to do that. He needs to be, Soryu needs to be building some pit bulls for that stealth detection. And the single Scorpion tank, will it be able to actually get one of these harvesters? If it can, then that will be great for Technique, as the economy for Soryu is going to be booming in just a few moments here, although currently it's basically the bottleneck is the refineries. He's got too many harvesters for the amount of refineries he has, and he is just going to be continuing to power Predator tanks, and the crane will go down right there, so these Shadow Teams probably making themselves worth it as they took out that refinery, slowing down the economy, and just being super annoying, and then taking out the crane, which, really, who builds a crane these days anyways? That's like early Tiberium Wars stuff before, like, the bazillion patches that they did. However, the pit bulls will be able to spot the Shadow Teams and engaging the house. Not an ideal situation for anyone. Well, actually, it's an ideal situation for Soryu. However, Soryu going to be having a pretty solid economy on the southern field. His economy up here isn't too great just from the lack of refineries. Could even transfer one of those harvesters down there, and then he's just got this giant split of units heading all over the map, and he is even throwing down an armory. And will these teams actually be able to spawn? Or will these teams actually be able to take down the armory? Yeah, they get the armory. However, the Watchtower goes down immediately, and they do get the crane. Actually, they don't. They force the sell-off of the crane. I do believe they got a shot off before the crane did get sold off. However, being super annoying, so Technique not necessarily going to be fighting through conventional methods, more of just sort of your guerrilla tactics, if you will. He's infiltrating the enemy, which actually infiltrating and scouting are just, you know, they go right hand in hand. He's able to see, oh hey, my enemy is moving out here, and he's actually going to be calling in for reinforcements, get himself some extra riflemen and some extra rocket squads. However, oh no, there goes the mic off the edge of my desk. However, it does look like the engagement over here going to be favoring Technique, at least here. However, with the reinforcements coming from Soryu, he should be able to do massive amounts of damage to these missile squads, and even the Hand of Nod does go down. However, so does basically everything else. And those Predator tanks getting hooked up on just a few infantry, and the mine drop completely misses the main batch of Predator tanks. It does snipe one Predator tank, and this obelisk will go down rather quickly, and even the power plant will go down, meaning Technique has basically no forces in the middle. He has a couple of rocket squads up here, but they're not really going to be doing anything. They will snipe one harvester, and then they will get cleaned up themselves. Standing in Tiberium fields is just not the way to go, while on the other hand, the base creep actually is good enough. So he's able to claim basically 3 fields at once. So Soryu is not in too bad of a position. However, Fanatics, I have certainly seen them been used to better effect. So those Fanatics not actually working out for Technique. However, he still does have his MCV back at home. And actually, how many MCVs has he built this game? I do believe I guess he only built 1. But are these Predator tanks rolling up to the MCV? Are they going to be going for that MCV? No. How many MCVs does he actually have? Looks like with the power micro, he's still not able to actually bring those obelisks online, just going online right there. And the MCV losing that additional power wasn't actually enough to take them offline. I guess he's just going to be building some additional power plants. However, taking down the power plants, a good choice for Soryu, and he's going to be able to clean up these Scorpion tanks if he actually focuses them down. But building more and more power plants rather, and the Scorpion tanks are trying to do as much damage to those Predator tanks. They need to be focusing them down a little better and just crushing these infantry. The obelisk will go down in just a few more shots. Right there, it crumbles, and the APC's running into the Scorpion tanks, not actually going to be able to do anything. They're going to tank a couple of shots from those tanks. However, the Predator tanks are what you want to be shooting with your Scorpion tanks, or at least with the majority of your Scorpion tanks, and somehow Technique will hold. He needs to focus down the super weak Scorpion tank, or Predator tanks with his Scorpion tanks, and Technique actually using the pathing of Tiberium Wars to his advantage. As you saw, he ran his tanks behind the Predator tanks, allowing them to effectively block the Predator tanks off from escaping. However, this will not work so well with these tanks, as they're just going to be running forward, and only now are they going to be pulling back. So Technique, he was able to hold that attack, but is it enough? Is he actually going to be able to take this game? Because right now, Soryu is in an excellent position to steamroll for the rest of this game and just own major face. Although the MCV heading to that blue field could be the edge that Technique needs. And where in the world is that? Wait, where are all of these MCVs that Technique has? How many does he actually have at this point? He should only have 1. But I thought I saw this MCV coming down from over here, and that MCV was taken out, which means I guess I just missed an MCV. However, these Predator tanks are going to be rolling in here, and even with the Orcas going to be getting in on the action as well. And this, I guess he's going for the Black Hand Squad to clear out the base, to clear out the buildings, which is not a bad idea, and he needs to desperately save this MCV, and the laser capacitor upgrade has finished, which means these tanks will be goodbye in absolutely no time. Not that that actually made any sense at all. They will be goodbye. They will say goodbye to their loved ones, as they all do explode into the flames, and the tank parts just go blasting up into the air, which is, of course, very cool to see. However, more Predator tanks just getting sniped there, and Orcas, that's what you want to use to engage. You don't want to use a single Predator tank to engage all of these Scorpion tanks. So Technique going for the tech path rather than the I'm going to build a lot of Predator tanks path. However, if we do see some railguns, which is most likely the upgrade being purchased by our blue GDI player, whatever his name is, I actually cannot remember for some reason. However, Technique going to be chasing down this single Pitbull with with the Scorpion tank, and not actually able to snipe that Orca with the Venom. Sells off the second airfield, so Soryu is not going to be in the best position if he loses all of this stuff down here. It's not so much the economy, but also those power plants that I'm worried about. The economy isn't a huge deal right now. This economy down here isn't a huge deal right now. However, taking that splash damage from that sonic emitter is a pretty big deal, and 2 more tanks do go down. However, what is a big deal is you want to leave 1 refiner and 1 harvester on these fields at least. Why is that? Because you've heard many people talk about it many times, as basically anyone who casts a long game can tell you those starting fields, especially once everything has been cleaned up, they regrow, and then you got like $10,000 worth of Tiberium sitting there, and you can't see it because it's in the shroud, which is why it's good to leave just a single harvester and refinery there. And Juggernaut's now out on the field, but so are Zone Troopers, and they will be able to clean up the remainder of these Scorpion tanks. No, oh, never mind. It does look like that actually Dozer Blades have finished, and I thought I saw a Juggernaut up there. I guess not quite, but the Venoms will be able to finish off all of those Orcas right there, making that airfield basically worthless, and even going to be able to harass a couple of Harvesters, and Pitbull's going to be going for an extra Harvester kill or 2. However, Stealth Tanks are out on the field, and Stealth Tanks, they're great at killing Pitbulls, but of course Pitbulls with Predator Tank Railgun backup is not a good situation for Technique to be in. He is definitely going to be losing his original base, although these Venoms can help to do a little bit of damage. However, the Avatar is now out, and with these 2 very weak Nod power plants kind of shielding that War Factory, they'll go down in about 0 seconds flat to those Predator tanks, as Predator tanks will just chew through Nod power plants. But yeah, you got to keep at least, 1 harvester, 1 refinery on those early Tiberium fields, just to make sure that you're not losing out on any economy like that. So yeah, that's exactly why it's going to be very advantageous for Technique to take out that economy and take out that base, even though there wasn't a whole lot going on there. And now, long-distance harvesting, not a bad situation to be in, but of course not a good situation to actually be in. And is that, I wasn't actually sure if that was a shadow team or not, but not quite. However, it does look like Soryu going to be engaging in the middle. He's bowling all of his forces, and this single stealth harvester is going to be unstealthing and re-stealthing right there, mixing in even a Zone Trooper squad and a couple of ragtag units, and he's not actually going to be waiting for the rest of his army, which I guess isn't actually going to be coming down here. However, Venoms might have been better just to hold them back and let them get some repairs, as 2 Venoms go down almost instantly to those APCs, and it's only 3 APCs were able to take those Venom downs just oh so quickly. And yeah, that's what you want to see, is you want to see those starting fields be kept under control, which Technique isn't doing too bad of a job with that. However, it does look like those Harvesters will get taken out, and that is never a good situation, but Technique is a desperate fellow in this game, and even he could be losing these, actually kind of surprising to see that Hand of Nod still there, but he could very well be losing those Tiberium spikes to this attack force out of Soryu, and Soryu going to actually be going for kind of a 2-pronged attack if he actually engages up here with that, but more shadow teams, so Technique somehow still in this game, and he somehow found the money to call in 2 shadow teams and then build himself 4 more, and I'm not actually sure if that's enough to snipe an MCV. I think it is. I'm pretty sure that it is, but I'm not 100% positive. Going to be throwing down a Shredder turret, building a couple of militant rocket squads just to make sure. And are they actually going to be going for the MCV, or are they going for the tech center? This could be a big detriment to the army of Soryu, or rather the tech. He won't be able to build any sort of mammoths or any sort of juggernauts, which he actually hasn't been doing. He already has the railgun upgrade, so that's not that huge of a deal. The Grenadiers didn't actually get any shots off, and it does look like the mines are going to be an excellent hit for Soryu, and there is no stealth detection here, which means he will be taking some massive damage, even losing a couple of those Scorpion tanks, Predator tanks. Why do I keep calling them Scorpion tanks? However, the Predator tanks up here will be able to absolutely wreck much of this base, but they will not be able to wreck so many avatars out of Technique. Goodness, you look away for 3 minutes or so, and Technique suddenly has 1 million avatars. Haven't actually checked back in with Technique in a little while. However, they are going to be going for that MCV just on that cooldown of their explosives. They of course have a cooldown in between when they can make stuff go splody and when they cannot. However, we do want to keep an eye on all of these avatars over here, but then also on all of those stealth teams, shadow teams over there. The Vertigos, are they actually going to be having any bombs left? I can't actually tell if they're going to be able to drop their bombs on those Predator tanks, I guess they're not quite going to be going for it. However, goodness, I keep seeing that stuff move over there, and I don't want to miss that MCV. However, it does look like the Vertigos are going to be heading for the base. Maybe they're going to be bombing the MCV. They might just be going for harvesters. Yeah, they are going to be going for the MCV, and right there the shadow teams fly in, and the MCV does go down. So good coordination out of Technique. He's able to take down Soryu's MCV, and Soryu is possibly going to be stuck basically right here, because with these shadow teams, Technique should be able to clean up the rest of this stuff for Soryu, which means Soryu will be completely confined to that center ground. He is going to be moving his Predator tank force across the map, which will take them completely out of position from any sort of avatar attack, which is definitely right now is the perfect time to go in for an avatar attack. All of the Pitbull Predator tanks are now gone because they think there's a huge threat over here, when in reality they're going to completely miss the shadow teams. Look at all of these Predator tanks just doing absolutely nothing, chilling over here, and even a couple of Scorpion tanks may be heading over there just to harass the Predator tanks and keep them there a bit longer. However, Technique is missing a huge opportunity to engage, and I guess Soryu could be taking the long way home in terms of he wants to, you know, it's possible that Soryu is setting up for an attack on the mid-ground. However, that's highly unlikely. And an extra MCV just goes ahead and pops on out there for Soryu. Soryu going to be even losing a little rifleman squad there, and these stealth tanks are still alive and well, and they will get the kill. No, not quite getting the kill on that refinery. One more, and we're even just a couple of more rockets, 3 or 4, should be able to finish that off. Actually, not anymore. But, oh, the Pitbulls are now out, which means they will be able to take down those stealth tanks without too much problem, I should think. But one more refinery does go down, and the shadow teams will run away on out of there. However, with lots of Pitbulls to chase them down, but now Vertigo is going to be heading over here, and they will get that MCV, and Vertigos are better versus units. They are better versus units rather than structures, but I don't think he actually got the hits in while it was in the mobile mode. However, more Venoms out of Technique could definitely do massive amounts of damage if he's able to separate them from the Pitbulls. These Predator tanks are, of course, very susceptible to any sort of airborne attack. However, they're also susceptible to redonkulous amounts of avatars out of Technique, so Technique not actually in that bad of a position, able to continually take down the Harvester, or take out the MCVs for Soryu, and Soryu, if that mine drop would have been a little bit better placed, he would have done absolutely ridiculous amounts of splash damage to all of those tanks, and the Venoms will largely take down one of the Harvesters. However, these avatars, they're not all engaging together, and the concave out of Soryu is pretty darn good. Basically, all of his tanks are able to fire, and they're able to take down the avatars so quickly, and the avatars, not all of them were firing for a little while there, and he could even try and flank with some of those Predator tanks. Where are the Pitbulls? They are just now rolling in from the top, and I do not even think that is going to be enough to take down this many Vindicated, whatever those are called. Venoms are going to be able to reign supreme, especially if they actually focus down all of those Pitbulls, and the avatars have, for the most part, gone down. But is there a barracks? No, there's no MCV out of Soryu, which means he can't reclaim those husks. However, the Predator tanks are about to become useless, especially if these Pitbulls get taken out. But Technique didn't actually want to take down those Pitbulls. Why? I have no idea. That engagement could have gone a lot better for Technique, and now Soryu desperately wants to get out an MCV so he can reclaim that 7 Avatar Husks. How often do you get the chance to reclaim 7 Avatar Husks? Basically never. And then if he builds a rig as well, he can basically pack that rig up, move it to the front line with his Predator tank support, and then, you know, he's got a very powerful army. However, Scorpion tanks are going to be heading over here, trying to take down this last little bit of economy for Soryu. Building 2 MCVs, that's a little bit of overkill. I guess Soryu is feeling a bit insecure from all of the MCVs he lost earlier, and he's like, hey, you know how you combat getting your MCV sniped? You build 2 MCVs, so it's twice as hard to take them down, and he's actually going to be hiding an MCV up here, and it gets immediately spotted by those shadow teams. So Technique has not been fooled by anything. However, he does know that, hey, all of my husks are about to get claimed, and that is 7 free husks, and he knows that he's coming in with the Vertigos. They're going to be dropping bombs, destroying the barracks, a good choice, and then going for the Avatar husks. 2 avatars have been reclaimed, and the rest of the husks do get cleaned up by Technique. However, Technique needs to be going for the kills here. He doesn't want those avatars to regain their health. He doesn't want the avatars to be pulled back and repaired, because that is just bad news bears for Technique, and he even crushes the Avatar Husk, and he will most likely take the other one out as well. And these Predator tanks, they just don't know what to do. They keep getting pulled across the map, back and forth, and they just do not know what to do. And this Husk is just going to get shot up by a single militant rifleman squad, and there it goes down, and wasn't actually able to get any engineers out. So I guess that's good for Soryu, that he didn't have to waste any money on those engineers, even sells off the barracks. However, where did that MCV go? That is a very good question, as I am not entirely sure. It's over here, but it's been getting spotted by these shadow teams this entire time, and Soryu is probably thinking that Technique is somehow cheating, because he's like, how in the world did you know that entire time? But the replay will reveal stealth units are actually pretty darn good. And Soryu is just wondering, that plan, he's just thinking that plan did not go over very well. It's possible that he was going for some sort of sonic emitter push, as he does have a base defense queued right there, and it does look like a heroic stealth tank. Why are all of the names so difficult today? But it does look like a heroic Predator tank going to be shooting this Tiberium spike, and they're just going to be having fun shooting stuff that cannot shoot back until Technique has 6 avatars just on the other side of that ridge, and those 4 vertigos. If they get the stacking, oh, this could be absolutely terrible for Soryu. He loses 4 Predator tanks right there. I do believe it was 4 Predator tanks that do go down, and even selling off the Tiberium chemical plant, getting himself a Black Hand Squad, and that obelisk is not very well placed. However, Pitbulls are going to be rolling up from the south, and they should be able to focus down this Konyard pretty quickly. With this many Predator tanks, they'll be able to take it down very quickly. And oh, not good. That mine drop, always going to be the one click of most use for Technique. He loves that mine drop. However, with the Pitbulls here, they will be able to clean it up, and the Predator tanks are going to be rolling on out of there, rolling straight into an obelisk, which is never a good situation. The Avatar is able to save that base with basically no problems. The MCV didn't quite go down. However, the Pitbulls will get picked off. One does go down, and the rest will escape pretty much with ease. They do spot that Harvester. Could stick around for the kill, and it does look like they are going to try and go for the kill, but they will definitely not be able to. And if he gets too close to that obelisk, it does look like Soryu may be able to actually snipe that Harvester. Technique not really paying attention. And Shredder turrets, they're all right, and they may get this one Pitbull kill. However, they will not actually be able to clean up these remaining Pitbulls. So one Harvester does go down for Technique, and Soryu just trying to continue to make this Pitbull thing work, and he will be able to take out not one Vindicator. I thought he was actually going to be able to take out that Vindicator there, but he wasn't able to actually kill it, wasn't able to actually finish the job. And Technique sitting pretty with this blue Tiberium. It's under his control, even though he's not actually harvesting it. Needs to bring over a couple of Harvesters and just sniping these buildings down. Even tries to get the sell-off, but wasn't quite able to get it. And these Shadow teams are pretty darn fast, which means they'll be able to outrun all of these Rifleman squads, and this Pitbull is not really going to be able to do anything except for draw figure eights with his treads, and right there he's got the infinity sign going on just a little bit. Then these Shadow teams will be able to finish off that refinery, meaning that on this, actually the entire starting almost half of the map, Soryu basically has no control there anymore in this single Harvester. It's going to be, sadly, he's going to be very disappointed that his home did get destroyed. He's like, hey, where's my refinery? I can't actually do anything without that. He's going to be very sad about that. However, what's not going to be sad is this, how many avatars is this? Actually, just 7 right there. 8 and 9, possibly 10 in total. Yeah, nope, 9 in total for Technique and a Scorpion tank. So Technique suddenly, although not all that suddenly, is looking to be in great position for this game. Soryu certainly had his time earlier on, and now it's Technique's time to look good in this game. And Soryu is basically out of tricks. He doesn't have a whole lot left. He's basically gotten taken out on this entire half of the map, and by half of the map I do mean like that entire third of the map. He controls the top middle third, if that makes sense, which is not a good position to be in. And Technique, on the other hand, being very active with his Vertigos. You don't see Vertigos that often. And Technique, oh, and also the Tiberium Catalyst Missile going to be taking out that refinery, which means yeah, there's no refineries left for Soryu, which means he could very well be making this his final push. Does he actually he doesn't. I don't even think he has enough to... He might just want to cancel that base defense and maybe even have to sell off some of these buildings to try and get a refinery. And I think he did just cancel that base defense. He may just have to try and settle for either what he's got now, or just try and sell... No, not even able to sell off a power plant. He wasn't able to really do anything. Sells off that war factory, and these shadow teams definitely being the MVP of this game for Technique. However, Soryu's economy is about to get a huge boom as all of the all of the harvesters are like, hey, we have a refinery to go to, and this is the derpy harvester who's just like, I'm gonna be from the outside, guys. It's cool, and he's just the harvester that's trying to be cool, but oh, he is not, because he's trying to refine his materials on the other side, and that's probably one of the worst uses of a hallucination I have ever seen. You want to mix in your hallucination units, but where they're actually going to matter. But there, it's like it didn't even slow the army down. It basically did nothing. However, Technique might have just had a little bit too much money right there, and the Avatar's actually going to be pulling back for Technique. He's going to instead be engaging with these Scorpion tanks. He's like, Tier 3, I don't even need you. Tier 1 is where it's at. Bringing the Vertigos in as well. Taking out a couple of harvesters there, and the Avatars are just going to be milling about over there, just talking and going to be marching. They're like a marching band gossip club over there. They're just talking a lot, not doing a whole lot of killing until just now. However, over here, it does look like Pitbulls are going to be the unit of choice for Soryu. He's trying to make something happen with these Pitbulls, but will it actually work? I don't think it will. It may just very well be too little too late. Technique is spread out a bit too far for a base race to be a viable option for Soryu. And Technique, he's not even really going for the kill. He's like, I'm going to take out the economy, going to snipe the harvesters, going to snipe the refineries. He's not going for the kill because he knows he has the win at this point. And there's nothing really Soryu can do. He's going to pack up his MCV. Nope, he's not going to pack up his MCV. I was going to think maybe he's going to pack up his MCV and walk it into the front line just to tank a couple of extra shots. He's going to be building his base or building his barracks, but he's not actually going to be able to do anything because the Scorpion tanks are just going to roll over everything. And you have to hand it to Soryu for fighting to absolutely the last man, and possibly even the last breath within that last man. And unless he's got an absolute ace up his sleeve, which he does not, Soryu has been defeated. So GG to both of these players. Technique playing a pretty solid game, a pretty good game, and he started out a little bit behind. However, Soryu was the one behind in the end. And let's just take a quick look at the resources graph, and then we'll take a look at the stats overall. However, it does look like fairly even. Actually, only like 3,000 credits difference, just a little bit less than 3,000 credits of difference for a 27-minute game. So Soryu and Mastermind, quite an interesting matchup between these two, and Technique somehow able to pull a victory out. And look at that resources, they ended almost at the same spot exactly. However, good game to both of these players, and this is going to be Sybert signing out.